welcome once again to Sports Orbit Extra as we continue our coverage of the AFCON 2023. My name is Afa Acho, and in the studio with me, I have two wonderful and great sports analysts. Innocent Odo is back in the studio with us on this edition of the program. Innocent, welcome once again.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Salifu Usman is also my regular co-presenter in the studio on this edition of the program also. Salifu, welcome.
Thank you, Alpha.
All right, today is that day once again when we look into the semi-finals of the ongoing AFCON 2023. First up will be Nigeria, who will be up against South Africa. That match comes up at 6 p.m. while the second match will be host Ivory Coast against DR Congo, which will come up at 9 p.m. So here we'll take a preview of those matches, but first we'll start with Nigeria, South Africa. Of course, Innocent match. After our beating Angola, everybody has been looking forward to this match against South Africa. In just a few hours from now, we will be watching this match, Nigeria against South Africa. What do you expect to see in today's encounter?
Wow, what a day to say that we're going to witness another top flight action in African football between the Super Eagles of Nigeria, the Superb Eagles of Nigeria, and the Bafana. They call them the boys.
Yes.
So I think today we're going to separate the boys from the men. And if you see the game that the Eagles have played in recent times, you see the solidity in the team. You see the intensity of the players and the commitment they have shown. I'm particularly impressed by this young man called Ademola Lookman. That young man is very committed to the job. And the entire team is just an embodiment of what we believe is the spirit of Nigeria, where we go into a game like that, sharing our voice, irrespective of their backgrounds, giving them that nod that yes, they can do it for the nation. They have done it before, and they also have history on their side. I remember I can't remember rather, in recent history, whether South Africa had ever beaten Nigeria in a Nations Cup encounter. I don't think I can remember that. I know that in 2000 when we hosted Ghana, we met them at the semi-final level and gave them what they deserved. 2-0. Those praise, the 2 goals from Tijani Babangida. At that time, I think they actually had better players then than now, because I remember they have one very interesting player called Siabunga Nompete. They also have Danusa Ngobe. McFish was also on that team. So it was a great collection of South African players, and then we also have a very great Super Eagles of that time, just like we have now. So I think it's going to be a very great encounter tonight. We wish the Eagles well. We know they can do it. But then let there not be some complacency on their side, because this South African team is quite unpredictable. They are very, very slippery, and they are dangerous when coming for counter-attacks. I watched them against the Atlas Lions of Morocco. Despite all the big players in Morocco, the Hakimis, the Arabats of this world, you can see how they dispatched Morocco by 2-0. Very clinical finishes. That tells you that they can be very, very dangerous. They can be slippery. They didn't give me much of impression when they played Cape Verde in the quarterfinals. They struggled in that match all through. Maybe because of the nature of the game, because even the Cape Verde team also is a very technically gifted side, and so it was really a very difficult game. But their goalkeeper came to the rescue, saving 4 penalties in a game that I don't think that's unprecedented in our history of Nations Cup. So the Eagles have to be very careful with that. But I don't think we should allow that game to stretch beyond the regulation time, so that we won't have our guys shooting wide or having their very impressive goalkeeper Ren Williams. They are doing that kind of magic. We don't want Eagles need to break these South Africans within 90 minutes.
Of course, Salifu rightly, like Innocent rightly observed, in our last AFCON meetings, in the last 4 meetings in the AFCON, the results have been on Nigeria's side from 2-0. The other time was 4-0, 2-1, then I think 2-0. So in AFCON, South Africans are yet to, record a victory. And even in competitive tournament, I think the first time South Africa got a win over Nigeria was during not too long ago, 2 years ago or so, during I think it was the qualifiers or so, if I can recall. And they celebrated that win like they just won the World Cup. And going into this match, actually, if you ask me, the momentum is on side of the Super Eagles. A lot of Nigerians are optimistic that Nigeria will carry it. But like Innocent rightly said, no time for complacency.
Yeah, that is the key word. No time for complacency. And just like we said, all the factors, all the statistics, everything stand in favor of Nigeria. But one thing we must know is that in as much as to this match will make the number 4 game. Nigerians and South Africa have been at the AFCON. Starting from when he said 2000 was the first semi-final. Then in 2004, we met in the group stage in Tunisia, which was the 4-0. And then the last time we met was 2019 in the same in the quarterfinal of the quarterfinal, which ended 2-1. Also goal by Juice Record and Samuel Chukwueze. So these two players may likely still play against South Africa today. So I don't want to dwell so much backward, back to the back, because the eras of the Tijani Babangida, the McFish and everybody, so these are their era then. But let's look at the present scenario. The present scenario that in the first that the last time those present promo players, we still have let's say at least 50% of the current Super Eagles T squad were part of the team that defeated South Africa in 2009 in Egypt. The same may also go with South Africa. And at the same time, if you're looking at it starting from this competition so far, that's where I want to use the way that we don't need to dwell so much on the record, because sometimes record don't come to play. It's what happened at the moment. If you're looking at this match, looking at from their perspective, right from the group stage to this stage, South Africa considered their only 2 goals in their first match against Mali. Same as Nigeria. Nigeria considered the only goal they considered in this match in the first match against Equatorial Guinea. So the two sides before this game, their last 4 matches have refused to concede a goal. So that's speak of the defense of the two sides.
Considered in the quarterfinal against Cape Verde, it was 1-1 in regulation time, and before it went to penalties.
South Africa, okay.
1-1 against Cape Verde.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I mean, they are here to test the defeat level. Okay, but 1-1. Okay. Well, unless they consider 1-1.
It was 1-1. The match ended 1-1 and went to penalties, and they won.
Okay. So, 1-1. But okay, what I'm trying to say in essence that South Africa has a very good defense, same as Nigeria. And also, if you're also looking at the attack, in numbers of goals, South Africa has scored more goals compared to Nigeria. So that means they are very good in attacking compared to Nigeria. But another thing is that if you look at the individual qualities of the players, standing based on history of individual players, Nigeria have a players to be known, to be watched, to look at a reputable name to be called superstar, unlike what the South Africa have. So South Africa have a bulk of collective that they will have to put their hands together as you don't have a particular player, so this player is a star player to mark down, unlike Nigeria. And the only advantage I see that yesterday I was so scared when the news break out that Osimhen may likely make the match. So a half fit Osimhen present on the pitch is better than 100% fit of any other player from the Super Eagles. Whether Osimhen is playing or is not playing, but his presence on the pitch will speak a lot and give a lot of advantage to the Super Eagles. Just like if it was our match right from the group stage up to this level, his presence in the upfront always keep the defenders at their back and also limited at which they can move forward. So, and going by that, you have to be very careful and have to make advantage of Osimhen in the upfront. And at the same time, South Africa, if you look at this match, South Africa obviously they are going to sit back. I don't see South Africa coming out in full strength to come attack Nigeria. They'll still back and try to wait for opportunity for a counter. And if you're looking at the Super Eagles defenders and the defenders so far, I give kudos to them because they have been able to provide all the necessary answers to every pose that the opponents have tried to pose to them so far. So we need to be very, very careful. And if you look, I don't think we are going to see any more change in the Super Eagles starting lineup, except before we came to the studio, there's a news that Seydou may likely miss this match due to injury because he couldn't train yesterday night with the team, and if he miss, so that means automatically that may shift Kebi Bansi to the left bank, and we may likely going to see Onyebushi or Eda Onyebuchi or Eda Onyebuchi coming in for the cover up for the defense. So, but I think it's going to be an interesting game for the two sides, and obviously I'm going to say the best team, the best side with the best attack, the best tactical know-how of the game is going to decide this game. And another thing that if you look at the South African coach, Hugo Boros has an experience. They have won this competition. He won in 2007 with Cameroon, and when he was given a job 2015 to lead the Cameroon team, nobody gave him the opportunity. Nobody believed he had the capacity to do it. But surprisingly, he went with Cameroon team that doesn't have that pedigree at that time that we will be to win. Surprisingly, he went and won the cup in Gabon. The same scenario is almost to repeat itself. When he was given this job for South Africa, people also doubting about his capability. And also, he went to South Africa and he was given this job in 2021. And since 2021, if you're looking at the sport of the side, you give kudos to him. He has been able to build a team. And most of the South Africa collections players are coming from the domestic league.
In fact, all of them. In fact, the majority of the team, they even come from one team, which is Mamelodi Sundowns. I mean, almost 6 of the players are from that team.
Thank you for that addition. That speaks of the cohesion, the cohesion and the team spirit of the team. So they can easily quick to understand themselves. And I also give kudos to South African League. If you look at the South African League in this competition, South Africa present the highest numbers of players in this AFCON compared to any other league in the world. Even not even Premier League or not even Spanish League or any league has the highest number of players in this African competition. South Africa just the 80%, almost 80% or 90% of South African players are from the domestic league. In Namibia players, most of them are from the South African league. Even Nigerian team has a player from the South African league. Okay. So I give kudos to South Africa for their domestic league, for them to represent that league. So all I'm trying to say is that South Africa are going for their second title. Even Hogogoro also who have won it for the second time. So obviously, they have a coach who has the experience of how to win, unlike Nigeria that have a coach who don't have the experience of how to win, that they have not won the cup before.
Yeah, I mean, like some analysts rightly said, that when you got to this level of a competition like this, the experience of the players comes a lot, and which most people see where Nigeria might have an advantage, because all the South African team, home base, coming up against players who play in some of the top clubs in Europe. Yeah. So at this level, you expect that the Nigerian side, whether you like it or not, will definitely have an edge, because their level of experience when it comes to this kind of games and exposure, you can't compare that side by side with the South African team.
Exactly. They have played to what I call the expectations of Nigerians, but we have to be very careful. Some of this player rating that we normally do. South Africa, like Salifu said, is a very they have a very strong domestic league. That is where some of even our players go there to play. Our goalkeeper Mwabali also plays for a South African club. And when you look at him, you know that the young man has confidence. You know that he has been groomed by a league that gives him such confidence, such character, and such agility. You understand that? So it then tells you that South African league is being represented well on the African continent. And so we cannot, in fact, write them off, because they are coming with that background that, yes, even if we don't play in Europe, even if we don't play in all the big clubs around the world, but the cohesion that we have in this team can actually prove that we can make it. And so the Eagles have to be very careful. Like I said, don't be complacent. Just take the game as it comes within the 90 minutes and put your best in it. And they just have to be very wary of one player they call Percy Tau. This Percy Tau, just from the name, is a very pacey striker. I remember when they defeated Nigeria 2-0, that was even in Nigeria here.
That was 2013. That's the Africa Cup of Nations qualifier. 2015. Nigeria was as a champion after we won it. It won in 2013. So for a champion for the qualifier for the 2015 edition in Gabon, that was when they came to in New Year and give us 2-0.
2-0. So you can see it was the same Percy Tau. I don't know how Percy he is after some years now, but he was the one that actually tore the Eagles defense apart that very day, and they hit us by 2-0 in Nigeria here. So he is also in the team, and he's also very fit. If you watch him play all the while, you see that he's that experience is within him. So we have to be very, very watchful of that young man called Percy Tau in the South African team. So by and large, you can see that the Moroccan team, for instance, is as good as Nigerian Super Eagles. They have all the collection of the great players, the Hakimis, the Arabats, and the rest of the world who play for big-time clubs in Spain, in England, and the rest of them. Even the Hakim, although Hakimi didn't play against South Africa in that second round encounter. But at least you can see the coordination in the South African team on that day. The Moroccans know that they play very good football. They were big, but they were very well contained, by the South Africans until they hit them surprisingly by 2-0. So when these guys see big names, I think that is when they actually rise to the occasion. And now
don't you think history also played a part in the Morocco game? Because leading up to that match, in fact, I just discovered that Morocco has never beaten South Africa in a competitive match, just like the Nigerian situation. So South Africa have always found a way of beating Morocco.
Not even just that. Yeah. Even the North African teams have always found it difficult to beat South Africa.
Exactly.
Remember when South Africa won their first Nations Cup? Yeah. It was against Tunisia. 2-0 in that stadium. Yeah. And I remember when Egypt even hosted it with all the Salahs of this world. Before we eliminated them in the final. They have this history against the North African team.
So another thing is that in as much as I will not rule out what the other experts have said about the experience. Yeah, the experience always counts in the game. And just like Innocent rightly saying, if you look at our own goalkeeper. That's why I don't want us to back on the experience that we are having the players who are playing in a big league or in a big world or a big stage.
Just hold your thought. We'll quickly go on a break. When we come back, Sport Update continues. Don't go nowhere. All right. All right, welcome back from that break. It's still Sports Update. Yes, before I went to that break, Saliku, you were making a point.
Yeah, what I was trying to say, I think having the players who are playing the big stage before sometime may not count. And it may not count in the sense that if you're looking at our own goalkeeper, Stanley Nwabali, for instance, this is his first time he's coming to the Super Eagles team, and nobody give him the confidence he has taken everything unaware. The kind of confidence he has gained, and if you even watch him critically, even the days of Vincent Enyama, the kind of confidence that guy is showing in the match, Enyama not even show to that color. I'm not trying to exaggerate or anything. Enyama is a good goalkeeper, no doubt about it. But the kind of confidence that guy is showing in between the stage, Enyama not even show that kind of confidence, and that claims to tell you that either you are playing the big stage or you're not playing a big stage. Sometimes somebody want to make a mark. So the South Africa will be all out to make a mark tonight, but I think they will not succeed against the Super Eagles. Exactly. And at the same time, Nwabali, for instance, is coming for this match is going to be a very tough one for him. In a sense that for the first time in this tournament, he's coming to face irregular faces that he always faced in the league. So that means those players who are playing together also know him. They understand each other and they know him more. So sometimes they may also know his weak point, and I pray that weak point may not be exposed to them tonight. So I think we're going to see a very different ball game, and we're likely going to see a different Nwabali tonight than what we have seen so far in this tournament.
So, any predictions?
Yes, at this stage, for me, when the game comes to this level, the semi-final level, I usually don't find it difficult. I usually find it difficult to predict, but I can always give it to the Super Eagles. I don't want a wide margin. It may not be a wide margin, maybe 1-0 in favor of the Eagles or 2-1 in favor of the Eagles. But certainly, I do not want this match to stretch to the extra time and to penalties, because I'm afraid that goalkeeper, Ron Williams, that guy is so sharp, and his agility is, in fact, unprecedented. You look at the 4 penalty kicks he was able to save, both to the left and to the right. He dives as fast. You can see, so he's so sharp on both sides. You can't even know what. Okay, some goalkeepers are weak when they dive to the right. Some are weak when they dive to the left. All right. So, but this particular guy goes fast in everyone. So you can say there's virtually no weakness on his part when it comes to penalty shootout. That is why, because what I saw against Cape Verde is what I'm afraid of. So the Eagles must have to put everything into this game to beat these guys and break them down within 90 minutes. We know they have the capacity to do it. Osimhen is there. Thank God. The good news is that he's back. He's in the team. I have the tireless effort of Demola Lookman. That young man, in fact, has impressed me so massively in this tournament. They'll come to the defense line. I like the work that the captain Ekong is doing, coordinating the defense and giving the goalkeeper enormous shield that just made us only one goal so far in the tournament. So the defense is confident. The attack, the midfield, that's where the action is. That's the nucleus of the team, the midfield, where we have Moses Simon with that pace. You see how he broke away from that Angolan defender before he slotted the ball back to Demola to get it into the net. So I think with that kind of fast players, we're able to overrun them. The South Africans are also very strong and rugged in their game. I think we're going to have a very balanced game today. But at the end of the day, let the Eagles triumph by just a slim margin, 1-0, 2-1. That will take us to the final.
All right. Well, that's that for that. Of course, another match will come up again. The second semi-final will be host Cote d'Ivoire up against DR Congo. Well, another tough match is going to be for host Cote d'Ivoire. Some have said they have somehow stumbled, struggled, and now they are in the last four, coming up against a Congolese team, which for me from the beginning of the tournament has been impressive. For me, they've been one of the dark horses of this tournament, and I'm little surprised they are already in the semi-final. And if you even look at the way they dispatched Mali in that one, is a team that need to look out for. So for the Ivorians, yes, home support and all of that, but it's going to be another difficult encounter for the Ivorians once again.
Yeah, it's going to be a very tough one for the Ivorian and also for the Congolese. It's not going to me. I see that game is not going to be an easy one, and it's very difficult to predict where the pedal will swing to. Yeah. But obviously, in as much as the hosts, the Cote d'Ivoire have strong in the group stage. God give them a second chance, and they are desperate to make best use of this second opportunity. I heard the coach said yesterday in the pre-match that yes, they perform woefully in the group stage, but don't give them the second opportunity. They have to wait till the last minute to have the assurance that they are back in the competition. And since they are back in the competition, they are trying to move forward, and they don't think they are hurried to stop this revival. So that means that they desperate want to take it to the final level, probably to swear again the Super Eagles by the Special Grace of Allah. So I'm going to see a very difficult game and a very tight game, just like say the Congolese so far have not disappointed anybody. If you're looking at from the group stage, if before the tournament, if you're asked to highlight who are the likeliest for 4 finalists, obviously you don't remember Congolese on the list. But surprisingly, they from day one, even from their first match against their first match against, there was one tough thing I can't remember. Their first match, which they give a tough chat. After their second match, after Morocco, they are the first team to give Morocco a reality check in this tournament. After Morocco dispatched Tanzania. So in the second group match, Morocco thought that with their pedigree coming as one the 4 best team, as one of the 4 best team in the world, based on their last performance at the World Cup. Believe that they can dispatch any African team, put an African team aside. But Morocco told them, no, this is Africa. What that's all I said better, and this is how we play in African style. And they stop Congo, so stop Morocco 1-1 it ended. And then after that, Morocco have the finest strong to stay in the competition, even though they managed to qualify. But in the group, in the second round, they couldn't go beyond the second round. South Africa have to send them back in. So from that, Congo has been a fantastic team. They may not be scoring the maximum goal. They are always calling just one before. They are always calling 1-1, and even their second round of 16 match was a penalty. They have to settle by a penalty. But how they easily dispatch
against Guinea, it was 3-1.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. How they easily dispatch Guinea is a surprise one. And that's clearly so that the more you progress, the more you go on, the more tougher you get, the more understanding you get. So clearly, the opponents should expect a very different Congolese side, and the opponent, if they survive Congolese tonight, well, good luck for them. But I can't say neither here or here. But if I go last, if Cote d'Ivoire survive Congolese, best luck for them. But I see them be stronger against Congo, and obviously Congo may end this revival journey. So
well, the Ivorian team, will I say, luck played a bit on the revival that had accompanied them so far, and they've also shown some revivalist mentality in the players who have also put up some great performances, like Aurier, who has also put in his best. I saw my Max Grandan, who has also been in the team, that they're also trying to improve performance in the team. But basically, they have not shown us that quality that we used to know of when you have the likes of what would I call the Drogba generation that eventually gave them the Nations Cup the second time, even though Drogba was not in that team that won the Nations Cup, but that generation of Drogba, was actually there. So you can see that this Ivorian team did not reflect to me so far what that generation of Ivorian players. When Ivory Coast won the Nations Cup for the first time in 1992 in Senegal, you could see that intensity in the players. So it has been a tradition of being of intensity in the team. I remember players like Abdoulaye Traoré that time, the ABC Kana, Saji Alain Magui, and the goalkeeper Alain Goumani. Those guys were great guys of that time who gave them the first Nations Cup. So you can see there's consistency. That any team that Ivory Coast presents that will be the champion of Africa, you see it from the time. From the time they started playing their first match. But this particular team just wobbled and fumbled, and then somehow there's luck on their side. They were able to, squeeze in into the second round. But during the second round, they met the supposed people that we tip to have to be the champions of Senegal, with all the Manes of this world and the Ismail Assars of this world. Unfortunately, it didn't go down well with the Senegalese national team. They ran into a bad weather that particular day, and it didn't work out. They were shot out. They were put out of the tournament through penalty shootout. So the Ivorians now progressed to the quarterfinal, where they met a very tough Malian team. Unfortunately, the Malians lost focus towards the end of the game, and they had to concede that last minute extra time goal, which actually denied them the opportunity to have a chance to come back and maybe claim a spot in the semi-final, which the Ivorians now have. So, but against this Congo, let me assure you that this Congolese team, if you have watched them from the beginning, you will discover that they are perhaps the most dangerous team in this tournament, because they play all-round game. They play like the Dutch of old. Massive attack, massive defense. They don't give any room for any manipulation. So you cannot even manipulate any side of the Congolese team. So it's going to be very, very difficult for this Ivorian team to break them down. Even with the home fans, I know they are going to turn out in their numbers today, because there's a rejuvenation of hope. Yes, having survived the setback of the first round, we're now in the semi-final. So the cup, is within us. The glory is here with us. So we cannot let it, slip away like that. So Congo or no Congo, we should be in the final. So I think that should be the spirit that is going to propel the Ivorian team today. They have fantastic players like Fofana, but has struggled all the way. Unfortunately so. But then I think they have an opportunity. But against this Congo team, they are not going to find it very, very easy.
All right. So those matches comes up: Nigeria, South Africa, 6 p.m. while second match comes up 9 p.m. Congo DR versus Cote d'Ivoire. Well, we'll keep an eye on those ones, and hopefully we'll give you a review of all of that. So this is where we draw the curtain on today's edition of Sports Orbit Extras. Innocent, thank you for coming around once again today. And Salifu, thank you for being in the studio. Until we come your way again, do have a wonderful time. My name is Afacho, and it's bye for now.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.